Hey now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the second edition of Over the Line Hot Takes. We are getting this thing rolling. We're going to be consistent, and we're going to bring you that news of the day that we just couldn't get for you during the radio show. Surprisingly, on the live portion of this, we're streaming on YouTube. Can't believe I pulled it off. With as many YouTube channels as I've had banned and everything else, we are finally live on YouTube. Can't believe it, but we did it. Very excited about that. Great response yesterday on the first episode of Over the Line Hot Takes. Again, this is just something we're trying out. We're going to see if it works and help me keep my sanity by being able to tell you guys the things that I wanted to tell you on the radio show that I could not tell you because I didn't have enough time. With that said, a lot of stuff to get to tonight. First off, thank you to Vapor Forge for bringing you this portion of the show. Vapor Forge, my guys, as you know, have always been there since day one. The OGs out on 280. Go and see them. Let them know I sent you. Tell them, hey, now, right by Bailey Brothers. They got your vape needs. Best selection, best price. They're out in unincorporated Shelby County, so that's only 5% sales tax. You can't beat that. And I know a lot of you guys are not in the Birmingham area, which would make it hard for you to go to Vapor Forge, but just know my boys at Vapor Forge, Tony, Amy, the rest of the crew, they support this. They help make this happen, and they help make the radio show happen. If it weren't for those guys, we wouldn't be doing none of it. So big shout out to them. Tony's actually on vacation right now, so I don't even know that he's going to see any of these videos until he gets back, but I'm sure he's having a good time. Now, today on the radio show, I started off by talking about Hunter Biden and a video of Hunter Biden on the 4th of July at the White House. Obviously, Independence Day, the White House does a whole big shebang, fireworks and all the rest, and the president gives a speech or something, I don't know. And it's usually broadcast on C-SPAN. Some of the major networks may carry it as well, but I didn't see it until like last night or this morning. And C-SPAN caught images of Hunter Biden up there with his dad, with Joe Biden, siblings and grandkids and everything else. And it was painfully obvious that Hunter Biden was as high as a kite. Now, keep in mind, this is right on the backside of finding cocaine at the White House, which is kind of a big deal. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But the images, for any of you guys who have ever dealt with somebody that's on drugs, you know the mannerisms. You know how they act. You know they're erratic. They're sweating. They're pacing. They're all over the place. They're not their normal selves. And we know enough about Hunter Biden, and especially since he's living at the White House and Joe Biden's bringing him to all these events, we know how he normally acts. And when he's not acting that way, we got to assume something's going on. Right? And it's probably cocaine. But I want to show you some of these images from the event on the 4th of July. This was Tuesday night. All right. This is from C-SPAN. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. Forgive me on the music. I don't know what's going on here. But check this out. Let me just turn that down. Check this out right here. He's sweating like a pig. He's rubbing his nose. He's sniffing. Now, right there, you may think to yourself, okay, that's not that bad. He seems to be just kind of walking away, rubbing his nose. Maybe he does have a little bit of a sniffle. But then there's other images where he is looks like he's completely cracked out of his mind. I mean, look at this. He looks frantic. He looks panicked. As if something's terribly wrong. And I know that's just a short snippet. But tell me that doesn't look like a man that is incredibly high. I mean, that's the same images. That's the same visuals we got out of Hunter Biden from the Hunter Biden laptop, where he's in a sauna smoking crack, or he's having some in-depth discussion with hookers. Like, that dude's high. He is high. And I don't know that there's any denying that. Why does that matter? Well, it matters now because cocaine has been found at the White House. And that would normally, in normal times, be a big deal. I can imagine if Donald Trump were president and they were to find cocaine at the White House. At first, they told us it was in the library, and then it was a cubby hole where guests keep their belongings. But if it were during the Trump administration, I would assume we would be talking impeachments today. I would assume that this is the most scandalous thing that's ever happened to a president or an administration. Scandal of the century. You couldn't have done anything more detrimental to spit on the office itself, to degrade, to disrespect the office of the President of the United States. I think we'd all agree with that. That's the way most people would look at it. But when you watch certain news channels, they're actually not treating it that way. They actually are treating it as if it is some sort of joke, something to laugh about. Now, keep in mind, this is a couple days ago, or maybe this was yesterday, when CNN is trying to get to the bottom of what exactly happened with the cocaine in the White House. They've got it lab tested. They figured out, okay, it is cocaine. That's a relief. It's not anthrax. But this is how CNN reported on it.
They're learning that it is indeed cocaine. Now, again, this is part of an ongoing investigation. We're trying to get more from the Secret Service as to, again, how this got into the White House and who brought it in. All of those questions still lingering, but at the very least, those lab tests are now in. John?
An investigation being led by the Secret Service, Priscilla, and we should note, I mean, clearly they know everyone who goes into that building. It is a known quantity.
That's right. I come in and out of this building on a regular basis, and you do have to pass, just like you would at the airport, through security. And so the question now is going to be how this came to be, and Secret Service is the one who's going to be fielding those questions.
All right. It is intriguing. Priscilla Alvarez, thank you so much for the latest on that. It was suspected. The field test said cocaine.
Yeah.
Now these more conclusive lab tests. Yeah.
I would like to know blow by blow who was responsible for this.
Too soon.
There's no too soon on this.
Wait, I would like to know blow by blow who's responsible for this. Isn't that funny, guys? Ha ha ha! Oh, blow by blow. Everybody get it? Yeah.
No one was injured, as far as we know. And it's an illicit drug at the White House. Why can't you actually have a bit of fun with it?
I don't believe in fun.
No, he doesn't. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
No, why can't we have a little bit of fun with it? It's just a little blow at the White House. Everybody gotta have a good time at the White House. It's no big deal to them. No big deal. Hunter Biden's a crackhead. He wants a little blow. I mean, you know, it's got to be stressful up there. A little cocaine never hurt nobody. That's what CNN was saying. And again, I revert back to, what if this were to happen 3 years ago? Cocaine found at the White House. People would lose their ever-loving minds. But CNN's rationale is, it was found at the library. Oh, wait, it wasn't found in the library? Oh, it was found in a cubby hole where the guests come in. And so, you know, it was probably just somebody was out partying and they accidentally brought it in on accident and left it in there. No big deal, no harm, no foul. Don't worry about it. We'll find out who it is. Oh, what was that? Oh, hold on. Secret Service. Oh, Secret Service is saying that we likely can't figure out who it is. What about the can't? Just tell. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So we're probably not going to be able to figure out who had the cocaine. But yeah, again, it's not a big deal because it was found in the guest lobby waiting room cubbyhole deal where guests leave their belongings. Oh, wait, there's a new report? That wasn't where it is? So we've gone from the library to where the guests keep their belongings while they're in the White House. Now we've gone to it was found near the Situation Room. That's right. A place in the White House, a place in the West Wing that almost no one is allowed to be in because it's that secure. That's where the cocaine was found. Imagine that. And here's the next question. I think we all are on the same page thinking that there's a very high likelihood that Hunter Biden owns that cocaine, right? The argument could be, any good crackhead would never lose his cocaine, but hey, we're all human, right? If that is Hunter Biden's cocaine, what is Hunter Biden doing near the Situation Room? I think that's the next logical question we should all be asking ourselves. But the New York Post reports this. They say that the bag of cocaine found in the West Wing of the White House was located near the Situation Room and one floor below the Oval Office, as a Biden administration spokesman declined Thursday to rule out first son Hunter Biden as the source of the illicit drug. Now think about that. That's a move in the right direction, that they're not ruling out Hunter Biden. The dime-sized bag of white powder was found Sunday night in an entrance area cubby located between the foyer and a lobby near where some officials' vehicles park, such as the vice president's limo or SUV. An official close to the matter previously told the Post that the cubby is used by both White House employees and visitors to store phones and personal items that are not taken into other parts of the complex. Now we find out that's not true. Isn't it fascinating? These people, and y'all know me, I try to express these things on the radio show and try to make sense of it before the truth comes out. Y'all know how I am. And I try to help you guys be ahead of the curve. But these people will tell on themselves before the story even gets all the way out. For instance, the cocaine is found. They start lying about where it's at. They start lying about who it could be. They start lying about almost immediately, once the story's out, about whether or not they're going to be able to figure out who did it. Everybody knows that there's cameras all over the place. There's a visitor log. They know everybody's move at all times in that White House. They can find out who it is in a matter of 30 minutes. Even on the forensic side of it, you can get some fingerprints off it. Chances are the coke head didn't think to wipe their prints off of it before they left it in the White House. And all of these things kind of correlate together to give you the answer to the question, which is, who does it belong to? It's Hunter Biden. As the official told the Post, hey, we're not going to rule out Hunter Biden. We're gonna go ahead and leave his name in the hat as a possible suspect. Say that the Biden administration needs to come out and finally say, hey, it was Hunter Biden, and we're embarrassed by this, and because of this, we're going to take steps. We're going to send him to rehab. We're going to try to take care of our son, which we love so much, and is the smartest man Joe Biden knows. We're going to do what's right for our family. You would do the same thing for your son. You would do the same thing for your family members. So that's what we're doing. You can't judge us. That's what's coming next. He won't be able to kick him out. He obviously lives at the White House at this point. He's been dodging subpoenas and everything else. But yeah, they'll probably send him to a high-end rehab that will be funded by you. That's right. The taxpayers will likely pay for Hunter Biden's rehab stint. And Hunter Biden will require Secret Service protection because they'll claim that the Ultra MAGA people are out to kill him. And so he'll be protected the whole time. That's likely what's going to happen. If you ask me, they're going to play the sympathy card because that's what the media's been doing. It's what the Biden administration's been doing. Karine Jean-Pierre, that's what she does. Oh, it's the president's son. He loves him very much. No, if you loved him, you would tell your 50-year-old son to get it together or I'm not going to have anything to do with you. But instead, what you've done is you've continued to enable the guy. You have worked with him to take bribes all over the world, and now you're letting him live rent-free in the freaking White House. Of all places, there's certain scenarios where a son might go and live with dad at 50 years old. Maybe some sort of tragic life event. You know, it's possible. It's not out of the realm of possibility for anybody. But when you're the president of the United States, you're going to let your 50-year-old son live at the White House, who's got a drug problem, and now drugs are starting to pop up in the White House? That's a problem. Not to mention your son's a deadbeat dad. I brought up today the deal that Hunter Biden cut with London Roberts, his stripper baby mama, who he has a daughter with, that he refuses to acknowledge. Won't meet her, won't acknowledge her. Joe Biden won't acknowledge that little girl, beautiful little girl, as his granddaughter, and didn't even want to pay his child support. Keep in mind, he had been going to an Arkansas court to try to get his child support reduced because he didn't think it was fair. Not only that, he was going to court to try to prevent this little girl from using his last name. That's how much of a scumbag Joe Biden's son is. And in the deal that they ultimately cut to get this little girl away from him, that is Hunter Biden, a recent in-depth report from the New York Times profiled Hunter Biden's former lover, London Roberts, and her quest to reach child support settlements for their daughter, Navy Joan. The report confirmed the pair's daughter will not be taking the Biden surname, which Hunter's legal team requested, and also confirmed that Roberts will be taking some of Hunter's paintings, which have gone for a price tag of $500,000 as part of the settlement. What a raw deal. Well, kind of a raw deal. In my humble opinion, this kid dodged a serious bullet by not taking the Biden's last name. You could make the argument that, yeah, there could be some money involved, money in her future and her mother's future had she taken Hunter Biden's last name. But the stain that would leave on you for the rest of your life is something you really don't want, especially at such a young age. So they likely gave this lady a large lump sum of money, probably got it illegally somehow, and gave her the paintings, some of the paintings that Hunter Biden had been selling as a money laundering deal for influence all over the world, which those paintings in the hands of London Roberts is absolutely useless and worthless because a Chinese investor or a member of the CCP is not going to buy one of these paintings from London Roberts because it's not about the paintings, it's about the influence. You're not buying the paintings, you're buying the person that painted them. And her dad's not president of the United States. Had to use quotations there. So I don't understand that part, but I'm sure there was a hefty payday. And hopefully she got what she deserved. But that does not erase the stain of this scumbag, Hunter Biden. And the stain he is, I don't want to say on the country, but on the office of the president of the United States, with Joe Biden, the most corrupt president in history, covering for him every step of the way. There are aides in the White House that are advising Joe Biden to keep Hunter at arm's length, to try to not bring him to events, and if possible, get him to move out of the White House. And he is defying all of those requests, all of that advice. He's shrugging it off because Hunter Biden is the smartest man he knows. And so each event that you see Joe Biden at, every dinner, every ball, every 4th of July celebration at the White House, Hunter Biden is right there by his dad's side. Why? Because he needs protection. Not from MAGA people. He needs protection from law enforcement. He needs protection from subpoenas and lawsuits. Because without that last name, this dude sitting in federal prison today. There's no doubt about that. And that should be the headline. That should be what everybody's talking about. But you know what they're talking about instead? With that big revelation of Hunter Biden, of cocaine at the White House, you know what Good Morning America was talking about today? Good Morning America, or I'm sorry, CBS This Morning, should I say. They were talking about menstruating and rethinking feminine hygiene. Because it's not just women that menstruate. That's correct. CBS This Morning says it's not only women that menstruate. Not Hunter Biden, not the Biden scandals, but menstruating people. That's what's important.
Where were you when I was 11? When I first got my period, my mom was away, and my grandmother was babysitting, and I went to her. I said, I don't even know what's happening. Number one, the color is, you even discuss about the color. I didn't know what that was in my panties. And she said, oh, you have to wait till your mother comes home. And I thought, am I dying? What is happening here? Because back then, it was not discussed. And you don't want girls to have to go through what many of us went through. Why?
I mean, because periods make human life possible.
Yes.
It's potentially one of the most natural biological processes of life, and yet history and society has built up this stigma that makes menstruators feel so ashamed.
Yes.
It makes us feel like there's something wrong with our bodies. We're taught that period blood is this contaminable, like disgusting
Dirty,
thing.
nasty,
Dirty.
yes.
And I think that it always breaks my heart to hear so many stories every
What is... I mean, please, can we just talk about cocaine? Please. No, we don't have time for that. We got to tell all of our old period war stories.
day of young menstruators who get their period and have never heard about it,
Yes.
right? Because suddenly you think you're bleeding out. A lot of people think that they pooped themselves because period
Yes.
blood can be brown and they don't know that.
Okay. This is a bit much. All right, it's getting a little too detailed, all right? But it was as the conversation went on is when it got weird, because again, what's important in this conversation is not the menstrual war stories, if you will. What's important is being inclusive to people who might not be female but still menstruate on a regular basis.
This is a good conversation for boys. My son is now 35, but when he was 11 or 12, I sent him to the store to buy a product. He's
Yeah.
like, ew.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's the wrong reaction.
You said to the store to go buy
Some pads.
it's just another product.
Scarred for life.
Come on.
No, but that's what we have to change.
That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. We have to change that.
Some pads, if you must know.
But August to me is the result of spending years in the space identifying pain points, whether they be around sustainability. Like, I grew up hating pads. Most pads have enough plastic for like 3 to 5 plastic bags, right?
Yeah.
So very scratchy, very uncomfortable, but also wanting a period positive, gender inclusive brand. So we are August, wanting a gender inclusive name. On the back, it says we're here for everyone who menstruates. And I think especially in this age of transphobia, it really means a lot to us to be proudly a gender inclusive brand. But everything about the product we try to be super thoughtful about, from how we design it to be as comfortable, as absorbent as possible, but also as sustainable as possible. So,
Yeah, so with the water, I'm not sure what's
No, she's about to do a demonstration. Oh, no. So, we wanted to make sure we have a gender-inclusive, period-positive product. And you see the guy over there at the table. He's like, that's interesting. Period positive. I hate to break it to the staff of CBS this morning, but men don't menstruate. Trans men don't menstruate. Only women menstruate. I know it seems bizarre that I have to even say that, but there's only 2 genders. Surprise! For the intellectuals, that's how upside down everything is right now. It's because, we are known as the dumb ones. People like myself, who didn't go to college, has got a high school diploma, barely got my high school diploma. All right, I don't have a higher education. I don't have degrees. I worked a blue-collar job for most of my life. It's us that are the ones that are dumb, backwards rednecks. It's the intellectuals like this lady, like the cast of CBS this morning. They're the ones that have all the brains. They're the smart ones. They know better than everybody else because they have an elaborate education. Yet, they don't understand basic biology. And you can say to yourself, well, yeah, they understand it. They're just trying to recreate it. No, you can't. You can't understand it and think that men can menstruate. You can't understand it and say, I don't know what a woman is. These people are warped. Their brains, and whether it was going to college or what that did it, their brains are absolute mush. We have somebody, think about this. We have somebody sitting on the Supreme Court that claims to not know what a woman is. Just take that in for a second. The Supreme Court of the United States, one of several members of a bench that rules on the most important issues, the most important decisions in this country, literally gives out rulings to uphold our Constitution, has a little bit of power over whether or not our Constitution continues to exist. Those type of people are making very important decisions about your life. As Barack Obama once said, elections have consequences, and those are the consequences. This is why 2024 is so important, and I preach it every single day. Because one more round of this, what we've experienced the past 2 years, one more round of that, and we're done. This is not conservative talk radio, podcast, talking points. This is for real. If we allow these people to remain in charge, we are done for. And there's no question about it. So we got to stop it. And we talked extensively about that yesterday, and we'll continue to talk about it and preach it from the rooftops. No matter how many social media accounts we get banned, we will keep on keeping on because we got to fight the good fight. I'm Andrew McClain. This is Over the Line Hot Takes, episode number 2. Thank y'all for checking it out. Make sure you subscribe to wherever you're watching this. and keep up with all of our latest shows, radio shows, podcasts, and everything else. And until next time, see you, cuz!